Hello children, how are you all? Hope you are fine and good. I am Dakshayani, handling biology from Bharadasnar Metric Higher Secondary School, Arakonam. Children, today we are going to see 11th standard zoology, the second chapter Kingdom Animalia. And in this chapter we are discussing about the phylums. So far we discussed about the invertebrates and we have discussed about the characteristics of the chordates. And now in this session we are going to discuss about the urochordates and the cephalochordates. Let us go into the topic. So first one, urochordata, right? What is the meaning of uro? Uro in Greek. In Greek, ura means tail. Ura means tail and cord. Cord means string. Already we studied, right? So the organisms, they may be asking the reason for the name. What is the reason behind urochordata? Because some organisms possess the notochord, that is a string in their tail region. So we can call them as a urochordates. And now we can see about some of the few characteristics of this urochordates. And here some are sessile. Sessile means what, children? They cannot move from one place to other. Some are pelagic. They are fixed. And some are solitary. What do you mean by solitary? They are in single. Some are single, but some of the urochordates are in groups and clusters like this. They are found in groups, right? And adult forms we assume as sac-like structures. So when they are found in groups, we can say they are colonial. And they are usually marine. They are found only in the salty water. So these are all some of the characteristics of phylum urochordates. And now we are going to study about the organ systems of this urochordata, right? And first one is about the digestion, right? Digestion is complete. Why it is complete? When we say it is complete, children, when it starts with the mouth, just look into this, this is a mouth and this is a pharynx and stomach, esophagus, stomach, and finally opens out into the anus. So the digestive system starts with the mouth and ends in the anus. So we say the digestive system is complete. So digestive system is complete, right? We can see about the respiration. So you can see this, children, there are some slit pores, right? On the pharynx, covering the pharynx, there are many gill slits. What we can call this as a numerous slits. So they are responsible for respiration. So the respiratory organs are the gill slits. And the outermost covering of the organism, we call it as a tunic or test. What is the outermost structure? Tunic or test. And then here heart is present. Heart is tubular, covering the pharynx. Covering the pharynx, heart is tubular, but it has a open circulatory system. That is, the blood opens directly into the cavity. Here it is a acoelomate because they does not have the body cavity, but they possess the atrial cavity. So far we discussed about the digestive system, respiration, and then the circulatory system. And now we are going to see why it is called as a urochordata, right? So it possesses the tail. It possesses the notochord in the tail region. So we say all the urochordates, we named it as urochordates because the notochord is present in the tail region. And here the reproduction, we can say it is hermaphrodite. What do you mean by hermaphrodite, children? Hermaphrodite means both the sexes are present in the same organism. The male sex and the female sex are present in the same organism. So, and the fertilization is internal, but the development is indirect. Right? Indirect in the sense it undergoes some larval stages. So here the larva name is tadpole larva. What is the larva name? Tadpole larva. And now we are going to see some of the examples of subphylum Urochordata, and the first one, this is Ascidian. Just underline in your book, children. What is this? This is the image of Ascidian. We can say it as Ascidians also. And this is Salpa. S-A-L-P-A. Salpa. Right? And it is Doliolium. Doliolum. Right. So these three are the examples of subphylum Urochordata. And now let us see the features of Cephalochordata. So why we got the name Cephalochordata, right? Cephalo means in Latin cephalo refers to head. Cephalo means head and chord means same, chord means string. So some organisms possess the notochord in their head region. Such organisms we say it as cephalochords. And these are all the example, children. It is a Amphioxus, small fish like structures, right? But they have the body cavity. So they live in fresh water, but they live a burrowing mode of life. That is, you can see it is a bottom of the fresh water, and it dips its head into the soil present under the water. So it lives in the burrows under the water. So it leads a burrowing life. And now we are going to study some of the organ systems here. The first one is about the digestive system. Similarly, the digestive system is complete. Digestive system is complete. Digestive system, because it possesses a mouth and it possesses the anus. There is a separate opening for mouth and anus. Hence, we can say the digestive system is complete. See, it get buried under the soil. Only mouth remains upwards, and these tentacles are help in catching the prey. And it possesses the dorsal nerve cord. Dorsal nerve cord, right? That is a nervous system. And here the coelom, it is a coelomate, that is, it possesses the body cavity, and it possesses the post anal tail which helps it in swimming. And the respiration is through gill slits. Respiration is through gill slits. But this organism does not have the heart, but they circulate through the closed blood capillary. So we can say the circulatory system is closed, but no heart is present. So these are all some of the characteristics of this subphylum. And about the excretory system, the excretory organs are Protonephridia. They are the excretory organ, and the example for this cephalochordate is Amphioxus. So this is the image of the Amphioxus. And now we are going to see about another subphylum, Vertebrata. What do you mean by Vertebrata, children? If an organism possesses the vertebral column, we say it as vertebra. Here one important question is asked. All the vertebrates are chordates, but all the chordates are not vertebrates. Justify your answer. This is an important question. So the answer for this is, you can see some of the vertebrates, even if you take human beings, we are the vertebrates, right? We possess the notochord. Only at the embryonic stage. At the time of embryonic development only, right? But when we grow up, what happens? Automatically the notochord is replaced by the vertebral column. So the notochord is not persistent throughout the life. So hence this statement is justified. All vertebrates are chordates, but all chordates are not vertebrates. And now we are going to discuss some of the characteristic features of the vertebrates. Just fishes, birds and reptiles, animals, everything come under the vertebrates. Just imagine children, what are all the paired appendages? Yes, fishes, they have the fins, right? Appendages is nothing, the organs attached to the body, right? So fishes, we can say they possess the fins, right? And how do the birds move? With the help of wings. And animals and we human beings, we have limbs. So these are all the appendages. And the next structure is skin, right? Our skin, it has a hair, it possesses the hair, nails, right? And what about in the case of fishes? Yes, fishes' skin is covered with the scales, and in the case of birds, we can say it has feathers. So these are all the characteristics of skin. Next one, respiration. How do the vertebrates respire? Just example, fishes, gills. Frogs, at the tadpole stage, they breathe through the gills, and later they breathe through the buccal cavity. And we human beings and animals, we breathe through the lungs. So these are all the respiratory organs of the vertebrates. And ventral muscular heart, yes. Which is a dorsal side, children? This is a dorsal side and this is a ventral. We possess the heart on the ventral side. And here also fishes possesses the two-chambered heart. Two-chambered heart. Right. And what about in the case of reptiles? Reptiles, all the reptiles possess three-chambered except crocodile. Except crocodile. And we all mammals, birds, we have four-chambered heart. So these are all some of the important characteristic features of the vertebrates. And now we are going to see some of the classifications of vertebrata, right? And here the subphylum vertebrata is classified into two classes. One is a class Agnatha and class Gnatosomata. Just, it's an important differentiation question, children. It's a 2-mark question. So Agnatha. Agnatha means the fishes which do not have the jaws. Jawless fishes we classify under the Agnatha. Here Gnatosomata. Gnato means jaw. Gnatho refers to jaw and stoma. It means mouth. So the mouth possesses the jaws. Some fishes, some of the organisms, for example, we human beings, frogs, reptiles, everything possess the jaws. So Gnatostomata. And here no paired appendages. There is no fins. They are fish-like structures, but they do not have the fins. But here some fishes are classified under the Gnatostomata. They have the fins, dorsal fin, pelvic fin, caudal fin, and wings. And then we human beings possess the limbs. So here this Gnatostomata, we are classified under this Gnatostomata only. And paired appendages is present, but here it is absent. And here it includes one important class, that is Cyclostomata. Cyclostomata. Cyclo means nothing. Cyclo means circle. Cyclo means circle. Stomata means mouth. So the fish-like structures which possesses the circular mouth we classify under the Cyclostomata. And example fishes. Fishes means all the fishes, right? Again fishes are classified into two. One is chondrithites. Chondrithites means cartilaginous fishes, and osteichthytes, that is bony fishes. And here it includes the jawed fishes, and then tetrapods, right? Tetrapods, all the organisms which bear four modifications. For example, birds, reptiles, amphibians and mammals. All come under the tetrapods. Yes children, birds also, their forelimbs are modified into wings. So this is the main difference between Agnatha and Gnathostomata. So with this session comes to an end children. We have discussed about the Urochordate, subphylum Urochordata, subphylum Cephalochordata and subphylum Vertebrata. So and along with this we have attached the study material, assessment and question bank for this lesson. Go through it and make sure how far you understood the topic. Children, in your notebook write the scientific name as well as a common name separately. Thank you children.